This is it, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's lift the Uforce 800 XL. All right, buddy, lift it. Oh yeah, that's it. Welcome to the Pokemon Squad. My name's John, and we're shining the light of Christ one ride at a time. Got Dallas, my cameraman, behind me. Guys, it's time to lift up the Uforce 800 XL. We've got this lift from PERFEX Industries. It is for the Uforce 600. I'm going to show you how to do it, but we do have to modify this. This isn't a direct bolt-on. The front actually is, but the back, we're going to have to cut the brackets. We'll show you how to do all that. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty details of what socket size you need and everything, but I am going to kind of just show you exactly what you need to do. And so after the end of this video, shouldn't have any doubt. So I haven't opened this up. This is the 2.5 lift kit from PERFEX for the Uforce 600. We've got some pretty heavy duty bolts and stuff here. We've got our back brackets. I'll go ahead and show you what we have to do with these. Oh, and they're thicker than I thought. We have to cut these right across there on both sides. And then we have to drill us another hole, probably somewhere in this area to more stabilize this. So it's going to be fun cutting through that. That's really going to be the only difficult part. So these are our rear brackets. We've got more. And then this is the bracket for the front. It goes all the way across the front, which is pretty cool. The 2-inch lift is just brackets like this for up front. They should work too. The 2-inch lift was out of stock, and so we're going with 2.5-inch lift. And we've got 2 of those that'll go up front. Looks like we've got some instructions and a sticker. So let's go ahead and open up these instructions and see what they say. I don't know how well y'all can see that. But you can pause it on here if there's anything that you're interested in seeing. I don't know how many pages this is. I'll read it later, or maybe I won't. So there's the front installation. We shouldn't have any problems with that, because it is a direct fit. It's this back page that we're going to have fun with. Now, if y'all come to the back of the machine, I'll show you why exactly we're having to do that with this back bracket. For the Uforce 600, there's not these extra support brackets. And so this can just slip right on top. But that won't work for us. We're going to have to cut the brackets so they can slide underneath this part. And then we'll drill a hole into this part and a hole into that part. Just so we have more than one. We don't want it doing that underneath there. We want it stable. And so Cameron Atkins on our Facebook, Uforce Facebook group, has done this, and he sent me some pictures exactly how to do it. So we'll have some fun doing it. We'll start with the front first because it's easy enough. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll get fun hacking this thing up. All right, let's go. All right, let's get a little pre-measurement first. I do have 30-inch tires on here. So where are we at? Hard to tell. Maybe 14 1/8, 14 1/4, in between there. All right, we need to know where we got started from to know where we end up at. All right, the first thing you're going to need is a helper to jack the front of your machine up. Get the wheels off the ground. We'll take the wheels off. I don't know that you have to, but we're going to. Hopefully you can see a little better and then give us a little more wiggle room as far as operating with this. Let's see if he's got it high enough yet. Nope. We'll keep him going. We're going to pop the hood right after this. All right, we've got it jacked up in the air. Got the back wheels chalked. Got the emergency parking brake on. You go unlatch the other side, bud. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. should be able to get a pretty good view of what we're working with here. And so this is what we'll be doing. We really just need to undo this top shock on both sides, and then we will put our new bracket in. We'll fasten it where the old one was, and then we'll put our shock into the lower hole in the bracket. So let's get after it. All right, we've got the machine jacked up. We've got jack stands under here, jack stands under this. Whenever we let this shock loose, it's going to let some of the pressure off. We've got the back wheels chocked. Be careful when you're doing this. This is when you're working with anything. We got a 15mm bolt and nut. So we're going to just go ahead and get that. Still filming? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to leave that in there. So you see I had to kind of lift up on it to kind of get it loose. So it's out of there. We can kind of move it to the side if you ever wonder what that looked like. Now we're going to go do that to the other side as well. Okay, so we are going to get our bracket, put a bracket here, a bracket there. We're going to slide this through with this in the middle. So let's see how good I'm going to be at this. All right, I got my cameraman. He promised not to laugh at me while I was working on this.
I did not.
These things are pretty heavy. So I'm just going to kind of find somewhere and just kind of shove that through for now. Stick this in the right hole. I don't know if you can see it. This is going to go in between this hole. That's so if you tighten this thing up, it won't pinch between here. All right, shoved that through. Come back over here. Put this one on right there. And then just kind of just get it started. Just kind of hand tighten it a bit. And then we'll go do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we've done it on both sides. It's just hand tightened. Maybe you can kind of get an idea of exactly what we're doing here. And we're going to go ahead and tighten it up now on both sides. And then we'll do this. We'll have to probably lift up on this, move our jack stand out, give us a little more clearance to get us down where we need to be, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Just kind of do them both a little bit at once. Yep, there you go. Is put this in here. We're going to put this through, but on each side, we're going to use one of these spacers on the inside of this bracket because this bracket is now farther apart than the original bracket was. This will take out that slack. All right, I'm going to lift up on this. Go ahead and pull this jack stand out, buddy, if you can. All right. Yeah. All right. That kept us from falling earlier, but now we need to go down farther. Hopefully y'all can see. So I'm going to kind of just get this started. I've got my washer here inside of our bracket. All right. Don't tighten this all the way down till you get this bottom part loose. I'm sure everybody home watching that already knew, but whenever you're filming, you forget steps. So let's just kind of get that in there. And once I get it through, we'll just put this little bolt on there. I have to lift up or push down on the shock. There we go. And so we've got our bolt, a spacer, the shock, a spacer, and then on the other end, we'll put our nut down. We'll tighten all this up once we're done. So we'll go to the other side. We're showing you one side at a time. Don't tighten that top one down all the way till you get the bottom one on. All right, we've got them good and tight on here. That's it as far as the front lift. That's all there is to it. So we're going to get our tires back on. If you notice, I've got these wheel spacers. I put those on in our last video. Whenever we lift this up, it's going to bring the suspension, really the bottom of it in a little bit. And so you'll lose some of your width without wheel spacers. I've got marked where the old ones were. And so we'll be able to see, you know, how much clearance we have now. All right, we got the front lift on. About to let it loose and just kind of see what it looks like. Yeah, go ahead. And of course, the shocks will have to be readjusted. Hop in there and jump on it. But I don't think it's going to stay that tall. That looks absolutely massive. And the tires will probably have to scoot out a little bit too. So we'll get some, you know, after we actually get it settled good, but daggum, it's way bigger this way. All right, now it's time for the back. I've got a speed square here, and I've got our bracket. I'm just gonna kind of put this on there, and I'm just gonna score a line so we know where to cut. And I want to get it really right before it starts to curve. I don't want any of that curve spot, and so I want to know where to cut it. So I'll just kind of eyeball it with this straight edge. I think I won't have any of that curve if I cut it right along this line. So I'm just going to kind of dig into that metal there. And that's where I'm going to cut it at. I don't know why it kept moving right there on the end. But I bet that we can get pretty close. Oh well. We'll just cut it close as we can. We'll do that on this side as well, and on our other bracket. Just want to make sure we don't get any of the curve. And of course I slipped again. And so that's the line we'll cut with. Now, let me show you what I plan on cutting this with, and we'll see if it works. All right, this is what I'm planning on using to try to cut through this. It may not work. I've got an angle grinder, if not, but I got these Diablo steel blades for cutting metal. We'll see if it works. Medium metal up to an 1/8 inch thick. I think that's probably what this is. So this will be maxing it out, but we'll just see what we can do. Okay, so I've got this set up where I can just cut through it. You can do whatever you want to. I've just got this kind of bolted to a board here, and I'm going to attempt to use this metal blade to cut through this thick metal. Definitely wear eye protection. I did go ahead and trim this blade up a little bit. That way it wasn't trying to cut the top and the bottom part at the same time. So let's just see how this works. Well, as you could see, that worked pretty good. I had to take my time, but I've got a good clean edge across here. Of course, we're letting it cool down for a second, but we'll flip this over, do it on the other side. We'll clean that up with a little bit of sandpaper, and we'll start on the next bracket. We'll do that 4 times. All right, now that we've got our brackets cut, we're going to cut or drill a new hole. You're going to want to pick up some grade 8 bolts. These are 5/16 grade 8 bolts. We don't want to just put this in. If you only have one point of contact, you'll be doing this on the side-by-side. But if you have two, it won't move. So we're going to drill another one right here in this corner. I'm going to take a punch, and I'll show you how to do it. If you don't have a set of these, they're pretty cheap. You don't have to. Where are we going to put it? Just kind of in between the hole and the end here. So we'll just get one good little, that'll leave just a tiny indentation, but it's good enough for drill bit. We're going to start little. And so we'll just find our little indentation here. Make sure you got some good drill bits. And we're just going to get a little bit of a bigger size. And we're just trying to make this hole big enough for our bolt to fit into. Now you pick what size bolt you want, but those are 5/16. Wear our protection. That's a smart thing. We'll go up to this size here. We are going to have to drill a hole in our side-by-side, but we'll do that in a minute. All right. And now she fits. And so the goal here is to be far enough away, just like that, where you still have room to get your socket on. I didn't really measure anything. I just got lucky. So the fun part will probably be trying to get this big of a hole in that side-by-side frame because it's limited room. Let's go see what we can get done. All right, now we're going to jack the back up, take off our back tires, take the shock off, and then we'll see about fitting our new brackets on here. All right, so I've taken the shock off, and I went ahead and just kind of dry fit our bracket here. So I just went through a big hole with the provided bolt. And what we need to do now is where we drilled our hole, we need to drill a hole in here. We don't want it doing this while we're driving. And that's why we got the grade 8 bolt, because those things are strong. So we're just going to try to get it, I guess, level. And then come in here with our drill bit and make a hole so we can have two points of contact here, and then our shock will go here. All right, so this is what this one side of the bracket would look like. Got two holes. That's the hole I drilled. This one was already there. And they both fit. Of course, you would just come in on this side and put your nut on there. But let's go ahead and drill out the other 3 holes. Once you get your first bracket on, before you drill the next hole, go ahead and line everything up. That way, whenever you do drill this hole, 1, this bracket won't be moving on you, and 2, it'll be lined up with the shock. All right, in the extra holes that we drilled, we're going to take our grade 8 bolts. These are 5/16. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get like a whole kit of them, like I've got. They're really not expensive at all. And we're going to feed it through. We'll put us a washer on it, and then I've got some nylon nuts that I purchased separately that I'll put in the description as well. When you do it, it'll look just like that. This is only in here temporarily. I'll show you how to do that with the spacer in just a minute. All right, we've slid shock through the spacer, or the shock bolt through the spacer here. It's all just loose right now. We'll tighten it up at the end. And so now we're going to take this out. I just put it on there temporarily. Could have went ahead and put these on. I've got a fat washer and a skinny washer. It looks like the fat washer goes towards the front of the machine, and that might matter just as far as spacing goes. So we're going to do it like the instructions say. So we'll be right back. The lift is on, guys, and this thing is huge. I'll have to get the tape measure out in a minute. That feels like more than 2.5 inches. All right, let's get a measurement if I can get my dog out of the way. So, try to take it at the same spot. Looks like we're almost at 16. So, for us, we got just shy of 2-inch lift, but it feels like 4 inches. So, not quite 2.5, but this wasn't originally intended for this machine. Looks good up front with the PERFEX across, and then of course our hack job in the back, but it doesn't look bad either, and we just jumped over every hill in the county. Maybe it was 2.5 on the 600, but more here. This thing, it takes for me a full Captain Morgan to get in it now. I hope my wife isn't going to be mad how tall this sits. It looks great. I'll get out of the way. But there's only one bad thing. It still rubs. This thing still rubs. It hits right here. So I'm going to take a heat gun and warm it up. And then I'm going to smack it with a hammer a few times to see if I can kind of just pop that in there so maybe it won't rub anymore. I think that if we put, bigger wheel spacers on here, it might make it worse, because it did. If you watch that wheel spacer video, it made it worse. Now, it's not terrible, and it's not as bad as it was, but you can see just right there in that corner. So the lift made it better, but it does still rub. So we're going to heat that up, smack it a few times, see if we can't pop that in and keep us from rubbing. We'll get a little bit of footage. Just walk around and let them look at it. This thing is an absolute unit. I mean, it almost is like as big as a U10 Pro now. It's something else. I think it looks great. What do you think, Dallas?
I think it's pretty cool.
It's big. You got a ton of ground clearance now. Yep. Now, I'll be honest with you. This was hard to do. Drilling these holes. Maybe if you had some better drill bits than I did, drilling the holes in the frames, that was the hardest part. If you had some, better drill bits, maybe it wouldn't be so hard. We just took this thing for a bouncy ride to kind of settle the shocks in and everything. But everything seems to be just fine and dandy. No issues there. That thing is sturdy. So if that's something, if you're a real DIYer and you really want to lift on this thing, it can be done. So if you want to do it, follow these steps. All right, guys, if you want to see more content like this, just subscribe. If you got any questions, I'm sure you will. Just put it in the comments, and I've got the links to everything where you can purchase it in the description. We appreciate it if you purchase from there. We get a little bit of a kickback from that. Doesn't cost you anything else, so we'd appreciate that. And don't forget, Jesus loves you so much He died for you, and all the honor and glory goes to God. Good night, good pools, and God bless.